Whispers in the fog. Whispers in the fog. The fog rolled in thick and oppressive, swallowing the moonlight as Claire trudged along the crumbling road. The air smelled of damp earth and decay, and the wind carried faint whispers that sent shivers down her spine. She clutched her flashlight tighter, the pale beam barely piercing the haze. She had no choice but to venture into Blackwood Hollow. The town's hushed warnings about the forest echoed in her mind. People don't come back from there. But Claire wasn't searching for people. She was looking for answers. Her sister, missing for weeks, had last been seen entering these woods. The deeper she went, the heavier the air grew. Trees loomed like skeletal sentinels, their gnarled branches twisting into grotesque shapes. The whispers grew louder now, forming incoherent murmurs that seemed to circle her just beyond the reach of her light. Her foot caught on something. She stumbled and fell, the flashlight skittering away. As she scrambled to retrieve it, her hand brushed against something cold and smooth. Stone, engraved with symbols that seemed to pulse faintly in the dark. A sudden laugh broke the silence, sharp and cruel. It came from everywhere and nowhere. "Who's there?" Claire demanded, her voice trembling. The laughter stopped. Then came the reply, low and guttural. "She belongs to us now." Claire's blood turned to ice as the words echoed around her, the guttural voice melting into the whispers that now rose to a deafening crescendo. She snatched the flashlight and spun in frantic circles, the beam of light revealing nothing but endless fog and the skeletal embrace of trees. Her breath quickened, forming frantic clouds in the cold air. She stepped back, her heel pressing against the engraved stone she had tripped on. The symbols flared brighter, casting a sickly green glow onto her pale face. "She belongs to us now," the voice repeated, closer this time. Claire's throat tightened. "Give her back," she shouted, her voice barely carrying over the eerie hum that filled the air. A shadow emerged from the fog, a shape barely human, its limbs too long, its movements jerky as if it were a puppet pulled by unseen strings. Its head twisted unnaturally to one side, and though it had no discernible eyes, Claire felt its gaze pierce her soul. Her legs screamed for her to run, but her body refused to obey. The shadow raised a hand, or what she thought was a hand, toward her. Long, thin fingers, ending in claw-like tips, pointed to her chest. "You're too late," it hissed. The whispers around her erupted into mocking laughter. Claire forced her legs to move and bolted deeper into the woods. The ground was uneven, roots clawing at her ankles, the fog thickening with every step. She could barely see the path ahead, but she knew stopping meant death, or worse. The laughter followed her, growing louder, more distorted. Out of the corner of her eye she saw them, figures, faint outlines in the fog, standing motionless but watching her. Some were tall, others grotesquely bent and shrunken, their faces obscured but their malice palpable. "Claire." She froze at the sound of her sister's voice, faint and distant. "Claire, help me." Her heart wrenched. "Sophie," she called, spinning in the direction of the voice. "Over here." The voice came again, closer this time. Claire turned, running toward the sound, her flashlight beam flickering erratically. The trees parted to reveal a clearing. At the center stood a weathered well, its stones blackened as if scorched. A figure sat slumped against it, her golden hair matted and filthy but unmistakable. "Sophie!" Claire cried, rushing forward. Her sister looked up, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. "You shouldn't have come," Sophie whispered, her voice trembling. "They won't let us leave." Before Claire could respond, a hand, gray, decayed, and impossibly strong, shot out from the well and wrapped around Sophie's neck, yanking her backward. Sophie screamed as she disappeared into the darkness below. "No!" Claire lunged forward, gripping the edge of the well, her flashlight tumbling into the abyss. The green glow from the symbols illuminated the depths, revealing twisted faces, their mouths stretching impossibly wide as they reached for her. "You wanted her," the voice from before sneered. "Now you'll join her."